If you're unsure how to find your sense of purpose in retirement, then this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to go over 7 tips that I learned by watching the documentary Arnold about Arnold Schwarzenegger on how you can apply those to your own retirement to make sure that you're maintaining your purpose in retirement. Welcome back. This is episode 165. If you know me, you know that I'm definitely a golf nut, as you can see by the golf trophy behind me, but I'm also a big fan of history. And I love reading about history, watching documentaries, and unfortunately my wife doesn't like it, so I usually have to wait till she's not around or maybe falls asleep so I can watch one of these documentaries. And I got that opportunity recently, and I watched the documentary about Arnold Schwarzenegger, known as Arnold. And it was very interesting to me to learn how Arnold accomplished what he did over his career, and how his sense of purpose really helped propel him into that success. And it really inspired me to address this sense of purpose, especially as it pertains to retirement. And I'd like to share what I learned from this documentary with you and how it can help you to make sure you're maintaining your sense of purpose and maintaining a full life in retirement. And if you're new to the show, I want to teach you how to save for retirement, how to plan for retirement, and how to pay less taxes in retirement. And if you want help doing all of this, then consider taking my comprehensive retirement planning course, Retirement Readiness Review. And it's an online course where I will walk you through all the steps in planning the perfect retirement. So head over to retirewithryan.com/on-demand if you'd like to learn more about that. So I was born in 1979, and I'm a child of the 1980s, and I feel like I grew up with Arnold Schwarzenegger. The first time that I saw one of his movies, I was at a party at one of my dad's friends' houses. This guy had a few older kids, and they were watching this movie called Commando. And I asked my parents if I could watch it, and they said yes. I don't think they really knew what the movie was about. It's a pretty violent movie, and I certainly probably won't let my kids, when they reach 8 or 9, watch this movie. But, I watched it, and I really became hooked on action movies and definitely became a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've seen probably all of his movies, and it was really interesting to me when I saw this pop up on Netflix. And if you check this out, I definitely suggest you do. It's broken down into 3 parts: the athlete, the actor, and the American. And I want to go through those sections and give you 7 takeaways that I have from this and how you can apply these to defining your own purpose in retirement. So the first one that I came away with is love. And Arnold Schwarzenegger was from a German family. His dad was was part of the German military in World War II, and from what he said, a lot of the veterans that came home from that war were very depressed, heavy bouts with alcohol because they lost the war, and they also were probably fighting for something they really didn't understand, fighting with the Nazis. So he really found this sense of love through the gym, and he became obsessed with working out, and met a lot of great people through a gym that he went to, and but this was a big part of his life, this sense of community. So I think everybody in retirement needs a sense of community, whether you're spending time with family or you have different social interactions. It's a very important part of staying involved because a lot of people in retirement, if they're very tied up in their work, they can really miss out on this social interaction because now they no longer have that. The second is travel. In retirement, you have a lot more time, and it's probably high on your bucket list to travel, and that was something that Arnold was very passionate about from a young age. He wanted to get to America, and he first moved to London. He was working at a gym in London where he was a trainer there, and through that and winning different competitions, he was able to get to America. I think he first came to Miami. The point is that you've got to prioritize travel because retirement, I've said this before, and I didn't coin this, I heard this somewhere, has 3 phases: the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years, right? So when you're in the go-go years of retirement, it's important that you do the travel when you can, when you're healthy. So make sure you're prioritizing that. The third is really think less, right? Now that sounds kind of counterintuitive. Do you really want to think less in retirement? Well, what I mean by that is everybody needs time to breathe. You need downtime. You need time to relax. And for Arnold, he said that he really got this when he went to the gym. He went to this gym that was bare bones gym, right? It had weights and the walls were wood, and he would take a piece of chalk, and every time he did a set, right, he'd make a chalk mark on the line, on the wall. And he said he would do like 20 bicep sets in one day. He would spend 4 hours working out. So you don't necessarily need to maybe devote that much time to something, but whatever it is, whether it's running on the treadmill, riding your bike, right, playing golf. There's a lot of things you can do to get into what they call that flow state, where you're just focus on that one task, and it can help take your mind off other things. The next would be consider taking up a new hobby. You could take up a sport, you could take up creative hobbies, and you don't have to wait until retirement to do this, right? You can do this now if you think there's something that you want to pursue in retirement. Maybe use some of your vacation time, your saved up vacation days, and pursue that hobby, and that can give you some idea of what you want to do in retirement, how you want to spend your time. And for Arnold, I would say that hobby for him was weightlifting, right? A lot of what he accomplished was done through that. And next would be organize your retirement. Arnold, believe it or not, didn't easily get into the movie business. What I found out from watching this is that he was winning these different competitions. He won the Mr. Universe a number of times, and he was becoming really famous, and he wanted to get into acting, but his English was very poor, and he was in an early movie, but it didn't have success, and it took him a long time of harassing agents to find an agent who would actually hire him. But what he said is that because he was so successful with his investments, that he didn't need to work in the movie business. He had a real estate portfolio because he was selling all types of supplements and things through a friend of his, and this friend taught him how to invest, and his investment portfolio was such that if he never was able to act, he was going to be okay. So he was able to wait for the right opportunity really to propel him into acting. Now, when this comes to your own retirement, you need to be organized as you move into this next phase. If there is a hobby that you're really passionate about, that you just can't wait to retire so that you could spend more time on your boat or doing whatever it is you want to do, make sure that you're organized. You have a plan for retirement. You know how much money you can spend in retirement, and you stick to that plan. And if you're retired, just get better acquainted with that plan and understand what you can do, and have a better accountability of your money. Next would be volunteering. For Arnold, you could say that volunteering was when he ran for governor of California. He was extremely wealthy, worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He certainly didn't need to become governor of California. Now, he got paid something, I don't know what his salary was, but it wasn't a lot of money. Certainly probably wasn't worth the aggravation of being governor and the stress that came with that. But he felt a greater sense of self, that he really wanted to help California improve, and depending on who you talk to, he did leave it in a better place. So whether that's for you, you want to volunteer, there's something that you're passionate about, there's a nonprofit that you're passionate about, or you have a skill that you could teach somebody else, or you could teach younger people that skill, that can be a great way to give you a purpose in retirement. And the last thing would be find part-time work. And this could allow you to earn some extra income, which is always not bad. But again, it can give you a greater sense of purpose and give you a greater sense of community. You can meet people through work that maybe you become friends with or have social interactions with. And for Arnold, I would say, you could say this was his acting career, even though he made quite a bit of money from acting. So I definitely suggest go and check out Arnold on Netflix, and let me know what you think. And as always, if you have questions that you want to have considered for a future podcast, you consider reaching out to me and leaving that by going to retirewithryan.com. And just before I go, a couple action items that I could give you. One of them would be get on a schedule. I think that helps because you've been on a work schedule. So if you get on a schedule in retirement, that can be very helpful. Next would be, try to prioritize your social interactions because, loneliness can be a tough thing, especially in retirement, and that could lead to depression. So you want to make sure that you have a social network, or you're getting out there and you're interacting with people enough. And this is where, looking at these different things you can do in retirement can be helpful. And lastly, make sure that you're taking control of your finances, that you have an idea of your budget, where your money's going, and whether you're doing that on your own or in conjunction with a financial advisor, a financial planner, that can be really helpful to keeping an eye on where things were at. So thanks for tuning in this week. Hope that you have a great week, and I look forward to talking to you next Wednesday. Take care.